A little-known historic figure is being celebrated and ensconced in perpetuity in downtown Charleston this week. Joining us with more on the honor is Nikki Campbell, member and spokesperson for the Daughters of the American Revolution. It's great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell us, who is this very little-known historic figure who made such a huge impact?
Yeah, so Tuesday, the Daughters of the American Revolution, which is a women's service organization, is a national organization that is dedicated to historic preservation, education, and honoring our patriots of the American Revolution. And Michael Kovat's de Fabrizi was actually a little-known patriot who, his time of the American Revolution was very short, but he contributed a lot. He was considered one of the founding members of the U.S. Cavalry, for example, and on Tuesday we honored him with a historical marker at the Old Exchange Building in downtown Charleston.
He has a unique history. He's not from Britain, he's not from France, but where is he from?
Yeah, he's considered a Hungarian nobleman who is a skillful military officer at the time. He was born in 1724 in Hungary. He was a highly ranked military official. In 1777, he learned about the American Revolution. He believed in what the Patriots were doing, trying to get their independence from Great Britain. So he wrote a letter in 1777 to the ambassador of France, which was Benjamin Franklin. If you know anything about him, he was a very prominent figure. He was one of the founding fathers. Ultimately, he ended up in the colonies and the American Continental Army. Eventually made his way down to Charlestown, which is obviously now Charleston, and he served in a battle. He helped train many a patriot to learn how to fight. In Charleston, while planning an attack on the British, he unfortunately died in battle, so he was faithful to the very end because he just simply believed in the cause. And one of the things we thought was just so important was to let people know about those little-known patriots who weren't from our country, but who believed in the cause and came over here to fight for American independence.
Well, and I was going to say, how rare, how unique was his set of circumstances being a nobleman, but coming from Eastern Europe as opposed to Western Europe to fight in the cause and to fight for the idea of America.
Yeah, it's very rare, but he, believe it or not, was not the only one. There were other foreign-born patriots who saw what was taking place or read about what was happening here and also came over to assist the patriots and fight for independence. And you know, if you know anything about the American Revolutionary War, it's made us who we are today. Can you imagine if we didn't win and, you know, we had lost to Great Britain, where we'd be today? There was a war that lasted for about 7 years and ended in 1783. So, you know, everyone played such a vital role, even the Native Americans, you know, people like Michael Kovat's de Fabrizi who came over. And so one of the questions we have gotten recently is like, why did you decide to honor him at the Old Exchange Building? And you know, if you know anything about the Old Exchange Building, has so much history to it. First of all, it was built in 1771 during the colonial era, and President George Washington has set foot there on many occasions back in the day.
I heard he's danced in a couple of balls.
That is actually true. That is true.
And I also hear that he wouldn't leave until he danced with every single young lady who asked him to dance.
That may or may not be true, you know, but he set foot there on many occasions. He mingled with Charleston's elite. He's had dinner there. He was entertained there on more than one occasion. During the siege of Charleston, when Charlestown actually fell to the British, many a patriot was taken prisoner there at the Old Exchange Building. So given the significance of the Old Exchange Building, it just seemed fitting to honor de Fabrizi at this location. So when visitors go to the Old Exchange Building and they get to learn about the history of that building, they'll also get to learn about this patriot. You know, we just want to recognize him.
And who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Exactly, and he died. He was still very young, you know, he was only about 52 years old. Oh, so Wednesday actually marks his death. 243 years ago, he lost his life in battle, and so we just want to pay tribute to him. And so ironically, this is interesting too, back in February, Daughters of the American Revolution with our President General went over to Hungary, to his hometown, and placed a marker there. So this is actually a companion marker at the Old Exchange Building.
Wonderful. So now we've got this legacy, this connection now.
Yeah. Yes, yes. And we were very
forever.
privileged at the Old Exchange Building on Tuesday to have somebody from Hungary there in attendance representing him.
Wonderful.
So it was sweet.
So with just a few seconds left here, and it's because of the work that the Daughters of the American Revolution are committed to, the mission, just for our audiences to understand a little bit better what that organization is all about, and you too are a member, so you have ancestors who fought in the
Yes. So
Revolution.
anybody who has a patriot that fought in the war or supported the war in some capacity, and you can prove lineage, we welcome them to join us. You know, we are more than 190,000 members strong, not just in the United States, in other countries too. We have more than 3,000 chapters.
Wow.
And if you go onto dar.org and click on the membership tab, you can learn about joining the organization. And so if you love history, you love preserving history, you love educating people about history, and you love honoring your patriots of the American Revolution, we by all means want you to join.
That's wonderful. Nikki Campbell, thank you so much for joining us.
You're
We're
welcome.
going to have to go down to the Exchange Building and take a look. We're back after this.